Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Ed Rogers from Honest Real Estate.
How you doing?
Ed, thank you for coming to the neighborhood tonight.
Thanks for asking me to show up.
Awesome. You said you watched a couple of the interviews, so we do stuff a little different. Before we get into the present and the future, we like to talk about the past because everybody seems to have a really cool, interesting story about how you got here today. So give us a little background on you and a little bit of your journey in the real estate industry and pre-real estate.
Okay. So I guess my history starts, I always tell people when I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
So both of my parents were in real estate, and I always tell the same story about how I remember sitting in my living room watching TV and my dad walking back and forth with the phone with the cord dragging behind him back and forth. And I always say that those problems that he had then are similar to the same problems we had now.
Sure. With
inspections, with mortgages and things like that. So my journey kind of started there, and real estate for me has always just been inside.
They were salespeople, real estate salespeople?
They were both sales,
okay.
For, a company that's still around. Mm-hmm. I mean, I actually still talk to the broker that they actually worked for almost 30 years ago. So
wow.
it's pretty cool. And she's a broker, not in Pennsylvania anymore, but in another state. But yeah, I still talk to her and have a relationship with her, so it is pretty cool.
So you were kind of raised in the business. You saw it. Was there ever a time where you said, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do something else, and dove into that? Or was it always, you're going to be the real estate baby, the real estate boy? And
no, I think in high school, my dad said to me, if you're not going to go to college, you're going to be in real estate. So I graduated high school when I was 17 and got my license. I think it was a couple years later, maybe when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
I did have my license active for a few years and decided it wasn't for me. I actually escrowed my license at one point, and then a couple years later, maybe a year later, I brought it right back out. And ever since that point, I've just been going for it.
Okay. And you've spent some time working in the big box companies. You've kind of gone around. Tell us a little bit about the journey that ended up with the smaller, more hands-on brokerage that you're in now.
So when I originally got my license, I was with a company called Realty World Kleeman Real Estate.
Okay.
Down in the Kensington section of Philadelphia at like Kensington and Allegheny.
The good section. The good part of Kensington.
No. It's actually like G and Allegheny, so it was west of Kensington, not on the Port Richmond side. Right. But so I was there for a few years. I learned a ton about first-time home buyers, with helping buyers purchase homes with Social Security, with child support, with multiple Social Security checks as payees and things like that. That company ended up closing down. So then I went to a company called Philly Real Estate, which was mainly out of like Northeast Philadelphia. I stayed there for maybe 2 months. There was a language barrier between me and the broker. Okay. So then I left there and I went to Berkshire Hathaway, right, like in Northeast Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. That, I tell people, is actually where I learned so much about the ins and outs of real estate. The broker there was fantastic. That's where I became an associate broker.
Gotcha.
And then ultimately decided to go out and open our own independent company. So, and then from there we just keep growing at this point.
Nice. Now, it's pretty apparent when you choose a name like Honest Real Estate that you're looking for a desired outcome. Was there a specific story behind that coming to the name of Honest Real Estate, or was it just like a light bulb?
It was months of thinking, what name should it be, right? And then you think of your last name. You think of Rogers Real Estate, or you think of, just different things, and nothing really clicked. So one day, me and my wife just driving in the car, and I said to her, picking a name is actually driving me crazy, and it's actually holding me back from taking the next step. So she says to me, what is your biggest practice in real estate? And without hesitation, I say honesty. And she says, there you go. And I laughed, and I still laugh to this day, because I'm like, honest real estate? Most people are like, yeah, how honest is a salesman? How honest is a saleswoman? But reality is if you are honest with people, I feel as though you can take the relationship with that client so much further.
Yeah.
And that's something that we try to preach every single day.
And really, like, you're putting yourself out there. That's when that's your name, that's your tagline. Like, you can't be a bullshitter when you have a name like Honest Real Estate, because you know you're opening yourself up to criticism. When you lead with "that's my name," that's what everybody's expecting. You have to deliver on that name. You know
I have heard the same joke a million times, and they go, it's usually when you meet somebody new, they're like, "What company are you with?" I'm like, "Honest Real Estate," and they were like, "How honest are you?" It's always like the same joke. So I always tell people the same thing. I'm like, "Ask me any question you want, and you'll get the honest answer." And nobody will ever ask a question because they might not want the truth, but
Sure.
it comes behind that.
For sure.
So it's always the same joke. I think it sticks out. Just because of the name itself, which I think works for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And what year did you officially start Honest Real Estate, open the doors, and get it all going?
It was November 1st, 2018.
Okay.
So I was actually trick-or-treating with my kids the day before, and we were waiting for the license to go active. So we were trick-or-treating. I remember they were up at a house looking, and I'm like, let me check the real estate website one more time before the night's over. And at that moment, I knew it was active.
Clicked on that.
So
Yeah.
that was October 31st, and then November 1st, 2018, I opened the doors for the first time, which was scary. I can tell you that.
For sure. Now, you said you've been a salesperson, but was that your first like real entrepreneurial venture, or did you like have lemonade stands and sell baseball cards when you were a kid or anything like that? Was it always that, or this was your first real leap into?
I feel like I was always semi-entrepreneurial. I started a power washing business when I was like 19 years old. So I used to work for a restaurant called Steve's Prince of Steaks. You probably heard of it.
Sure.
And they had a power washing company that used to come and just power wash the sidewalks and, where you order the food and stuff. And that person retired. So they were like looking for somebody. And I'm like, well, how much are you paying this guy? And they tell me, I said, I'll do this.
Right.
Immediately. I'm like, I'll do it. So I went out and I started doing it for them. And then before I know it, I was knocking on doors and I was power washing homes, sidewalks, decks, whatever I could get my hands on, because it was such a lucrative business, in my opinion. I would knock on your door, give you a price, you would pay me, and I would use your water to clean your own house. So it was like there was no overhead.
Yeah.
And then I did other things. When we were kids, my dad would make us sell pretzels and stuff like that. But
Right.
this is like the first real thing that is like all in.
Right. Okay. So now, present day, what do you do to keep your head level and to keep your mind straight? Do you have hobbies or meditation or any type of stuff that you do to alleviate yourself? Because this is a stressful business.
Very stressful.
If you don't want to choke everyone you love, you have to find outlets for those things. So what do you do to keep your head straight?
So when you say meditation, what I actually do for meditation, you probably heard of Wim Hof.
Sure.
So my easiest form of meditation is going on YouTube and watching his breathing and doing his breathing techniques that he does.
Love it.
It's about 11 minutes. I probably do that, a couple times a week. And it's usually like first thing in the morning.
Ever in the cold water or just straight?
No.
Man. I love the cold water.
I take steaming hot showers. You can't believe it.
I do that too, but I love this. I love the cold water.
But the breathing techniques for me, I think, helps because it's weird. A meditation is just a form of not thinking, right?
Sure.
I am able to just get in the zone and just breathe. Mm-hmm. And if for some reason it clears my mind. And as soon as I'm done that, 10 minutes later, I'm like, I feel great. I feel refreshed, And I think besides that, I do weekends with my wife and my kids. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, I'm not really doing too many appointments on weekends because you'll drive yourself insane in this business. Mm-hmm. As a broker of a company. You'll literally drive yourself nuts. So you have to find something that just keeps you a little bit sane, in my opinion.
Any type of personal development, podcasts, individual studies, anything like that you do? Is there anyone that you idolize in the business, or from a business selling standpoint that you go through and watch or anything?
I think I'm more inspired by other people in the real estate business.
Okay.
I'm inspired by other brokers, other top leading salespeople, whether they're running teams and things like that. I don't tell them I'm inspired by them, and I do research on them, right?
Sure.
Because I'm like, how can they be still so successful after 20 years, 25 years, or 30 years, right? And there's a pattern to that. So they're the people that inspire me. I don't get inspired by like Tony Robbins or Gary Vaynerchuk or anybody like that. I'll listen to their stuff, but
Sure.
It's not what gets me out of bed in the morning.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Don't ask me who I'm inspired by, because I'm not going to tell you.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about future. We talked about past. We talked about present. Let's talk about future. Let's move it forward to June, July of 2025. Where is Honest Real Estate? Where is Ed? Give me some of the things you're going to accomplish and some boxes you'd like to check off in the next 2 years.
So I think at this point we're focused on expansion of the company. Right now we have one location. I own another building in Bucks County that we've been working on for the last 2 years. So it's going to be a commercial new construction. So when I say expansion, like we're going to essentially move into that location, and then we're going to we're focusing on right now of expanding into just more locations as time goes on.
Okay.
So right now I'm a licensed broker, Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We don't have a physical location in New Jersey, but we're actively looking for one.
Okay.
So, and with expansion of a company comes growth of more agents, we're trying to create leaders within the company. So we have different programs in place right now, which brings up agents into the next level of leadership. So I think we're going to continue growing that as well. Okay.
And we talked a little bit before this, but if there's an agent that's watching this, or there's people that are thinking about getting into the real estate industry, what do you think separates you and the offering that you have at your company versus some of the other smaller boutique companies, some of the big box companies? What would you want to tell somebody who is watching this why they would make a good partner for you, or you would make a good partner for them?
I think we focus on mentoring new agents from day one.
Okay.
So we as a company have a mentor program in place. So if you're a brand new agent who's never closed a transaction, or if you're an agent from another company who's not getting the type of training you need, if you join us, you get assigned one specific agent that handles everything with you from A to Z, whether it's paperwork, it's showing, it's listing appointments, it's settlements, it's inspections, whatever the case may be. Your mentor agent is assigned to you directly.
Okay.
And they truly show you the ins and outs of the company. This way you don't feel lost. Right. You also, besides your mentor agent, we have an office coach who is directly under me, and then you have me who's constantly available unless I'm in my form of breathing meditation and you can't get a hold of me.
Then leave a message and you get right back to him, right?
Do not disturb. But I think we, and then when I opened the company, it was just me. So as time went on, my focus was making sure everybody felt comfortable. Every agent that comes in feels comfortable. Every person that walks in our door, client, feels comfortable. So we focus on when you walk in, you feel comfortable, you don't feel lost, and you feel like you can ask anybody a question in the company, which I think truly helps.
Sure. What about residential versus commercial? Are you strictly residential? Do you have a commercial department? Is that something you would look to expand, or how's that status right now?
I think we probably do 85% residential at this point. We do some commercial on a certain level. We're not going to sell industrial parks or like strip malls or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little out of our expertise. But we'll focus on, commercial mixed-use buildings. We'll focus on 6-unit apartment buildings.
Gotcha.
Maybe helping somebody rent a storefront, stuff like that. So we have about 5 agents now who are pretty comfortable with commercial. So we tell every agent, like, hey, if you have a client that's interested in commercial, don't tell them you can't do it. We'll connect you with another agent within that can help your client.
Okay. And you said you have a mentoring program for new agents. Is that specifically your target, or would you entertain more experienced loan officers? I know me personally, I always have a tougher time. Not that I won't take on experienced loan officers, I will, but most times it's more difficult to unprogram and reprogram than it is to just program. So it really depends on the type of history that the person has.
We're open. We're an open door. So I've personally have never recruited anybody. I've had conversations with agents, and after fifth or sixth conversation, I'm like, hey, why don't we meet? Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily recruit. So I think most agents we attract are new, but we have plenty of agents that are on with us that are not brand new either.
Okay. Do you have someone that works for your organization that does recruit, or is it just a organic groundswell, if you like us, come and talk to us kind of thing?
But we have like a recruiting system in place where if you recruit somebody, you get to earn a percentage of the commission.
Okay.
But I think most agents don't like to recruit either because they're focused on their own business.
Right.
So we have something in place that helps when agents recruit, but it's not something that we jam down other agents' throats in order to bring more agents on.
All right.
I've personally have met with agents. I meet with every single agent, and I've met with you, and I talk with you. And if I don't feel as though you're a fit for our company, whether you're brand new or experienced, I won't bring you onto the company. Right. And I'll explain why I don't think we're a fit as well.
That's good. All right, final personal question.
Uh-oh.
We already go. We're not going sports. We'll go history. All right. So you had the opportunity to sit down with any person that's ever lived on the face of the earth. Could be alive, could be dead, whatever. You can sit down with them for a half an hour. Who would the person be? And give me one or two questions you'd like to ask them.
I'm probably gonna cry.
You wouldn't be the first person. That
It would be my dad.
Okay.
But I can't really speak on why.
Okay, that's all right.
It's a tough question. I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah. It is, and it's good. It's good. Not that I ever want to make anybody cry, but it's good to see the human side of it. And we talked about this before there. It's good to be human.
Yeah.
And to feel human, and to not always be so businesslike. And I think it's important as big burly cavemen, like we both are, to let people see the human side of us and let people know that there's a part of us that's a human, and then we have emotions. And I personally, I cry in front of my kids, on a regular basis, and let them know, I can be the big, tough, strong, smash table Hulk dude, but I'm also the cuddly, emotional dude that gets in touch with how things feel. Because if you don't have that at all, then you're void of that.
I think, like we talked about before, is you have to be relatable to people as well.
Yeah.
You can't be, like I always use the word, you can't be a robotic salesperson. So you have to relate to people. You have to understand people and their feelings and their emotions through anything in life. And I think it helps. I think it helps certain agents become better agents as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming by.
I wasn't ready for that question. So.
We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.